In this short video, I want to introduce you to just the basic tools in your Google Drive. For all of these videos, we will be looking at our CREC Google account rather than our personal Google account because the features will be slightly different. So here I am in my CREC Google account, and I've gone to Google Drive and I am clicked on My Drive. And this is what it looks like when you first start using Google Drive. And I just want to walk you across the top of the screen for some of the basic tools and settings. In the upper left corner, we have the big New button, and that's a button you will use all the time for creating new documents or adding new documents to your drive. You can create documents by choosing any of these below, or even hovering over more and looking for Google Drawings or Google Jamboard or some of the others that are available. You can also create a new folder by clicking the folder at the top. You can also add new documents and new folders to your Google Drive just by uploading them from your computer. And that all happens from the New button. Moving across the top, you can also search your Google Drive. This is not a video to go to the details of advanced searching, but it is a powerful search tool. After all, it is Google, and you will be able to search and find documents that you have created or that other people have shared with you. I'm going to skip over the settings gear for just a moment and go to this little icon here. This controls how you view your documents. Right now I am in the list view, which means that other than this quick access row across the top, everything in my drive is in a list. Folders are in alphabetical order, followed by free-flowing files that are in alphabetical order. These freestanding files, I haven't put them in a folder yet, so they get placed in alphabetical order behind the folders. Folders will always come first. You can change that. You can change that to a grid view, which gives your folders this kind of look, but it lets all of your files have a thumbnail version. For some people, the visual piece of that is a big clue as to what's inside the file, and it makes it a little easier for them to find their files. It does mean that it takes more space and more scrolling to work your way down because these are taking up more space. So for that reason, I use the list view, but I want you to know that both are available so you can select what's best for you. Lastly, now we come to the settings gear. And I do want you to go into your settings and make some changes. So let's click here and go to settings. I want you to make sure you've done a couple of things in your settings. One is, when you first open your drive, this box will not be checked. And I want you to check it. This is the most important setting in Google Drive. What this does is it makes sure that any file you upload from your computer gets converted to a Google Doc. That way it makes it easier to edit it, and easier to share it, and easier to collaborate with others. If you don't do that, if you upload an Excel document or a Microsoft Word document, they will stay in the Excel or Microsoft Word format. The editing is slightly more cumbersome. It's a little more difficult to share those documents and collaborate with others. And at some point it will prompt you, would you like to change it to a Google Doc? And if you click yes, suddenly you have two copies now. And which one is the right one? Which one is the updated one? Best to avoid that confusion. Let Google convert everything for you as you move it online. If you are using a laptop, you may want to play with the density setting. Google will start you off at a comfortable setting, which means the names of the files back there in the background are spaced further apart. I go with the compact setting on my laptop just because it lets me squeeze a little more into my screen. The last thing that I want you to pay attention to is making relevant files handy when you need them in quick access. That's turned on. And what that means is these 4 documents, these big tiles right across the top, Google has selected those thinking that those are things that I might want to have quick access to. It's a bit of a mystery how Google decides what those 4 tiles will be. It's not the most recent things that I've worked on. It's not the things that I've worked on more hours in the last week. It just means something that they've decided, you might want to see that again. And frankly, I do not. That is not the best way for me to find files. So I go into my settings and I turn that one off. It gets rid of that row. It means I can see a lot more of my folders and files on the screen, and I don't have those weird prompts that really aren't necessarily the files that I want quick access to. So there, that's a quick walk just across the tools and the settings along the top of your Google Drive. Make sure you adjust those settings, and then you'll be ready to move forward working in Google Drive.